accepted?
Absolutely. Once we get 3 bids, we'll come back to council, show that to you guys. You guys will approve it, then we'll move on with it. Our goal is to have it completely done by January 1st.
Excellent.
That was all I have.
Any other questions?
I'd like to move that we approve A7.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Move forward to item A9.
Yes, Council.
Are these the items that you were talking about that the grant was paying for?
That's correct. Back in July, we brought the grant to you. You guys approved the grant, accepting of the grant for $297 for SCBAs, or self-contained breathing apparatuses. And we went out to bid, and the bids were open. This is the bid that won, and we're just requesting now to spend that money and award that bid to the company.
Did you receive the new air making machine?
Yes, we did. Back in April, May, a new compressor.
So you now have the means to refill all these without?
Yes, we do. We have a brand-new air compressor, thanks to the council and citizens, and this is the grant money for the breathing apparatuses, the latest and greatest.
Thank you for getting the grant.
Not a problem.
Any other questions, council?
I'll move that we approve A9.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, 5-0 vote.
May I ask who seconded?
That was Councilmember Valdivia.
Thank you.
B, no business. C, public input. This is the time for anyone in the audience to speak on any item not on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. When the city clerk calls your name, please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the city council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Please note that state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda. Do we have speakers?
Ruben Lopez.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ruben Lopez. I live in San Juan Bautista, although I've lived all over this county in the past. I'm back home after 30 years in education. Moved back to San Juan in 1994, 95. I wasn't there a week when Marley Holte, late Marley Holte, came down to my house. He lived at the end of the street and recruited me to help him with his holiday dinners, and also got me involved in Rotary again. So as of December, I have taken over as chairman, co-chair actually, of the Marley Holte holiday dinners. We thought for a while that it wasn't going to continue, but I and Mr. Eduardo Servin have taken up the co-chair. I'm here this evening to ask you to consider the corner of San Benito and 4th Street, to name that the Marley Holte Plaza as a tribute to Marley and his contribution to our city and our county. We feed over 300 people at Thanksgiving, and a little over 500 at Christmas. We also deliver dinners to senior citizens who can't make it down there, and disabled people. So we feed the poor, the hungry, anybody that doesn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving. I think Marley has made a tremendous contribution to our community as a principal, elementary school teacher for over 40 years. Last year I received a couple of checks from former students of his who live in the Midwest. They sent money for the dinners in honor of Marley because of what they felt he had done for them. Anyway, there's been a lot of discussion about that corner, making it a commercial entity or whatever it is. But my feeling and our feeling, not a lot of people, is that Marley should be memorialized, and we should have some kind of a tribute to him. My co-chair is a contractor, and he's willing to do the labor to develop that corner, the landscaping, the building of a gazebo. I think a gazebo there would be a great asset to our community. Could have concerts on Sundays. I hate Watsonville having that opportunity now, and we don't. When I was a kid, my dad, who liked all kinds of music, used to take the whole family over there and have a picnic. We listened to the Watsonville Band and other bands and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It would bring people together here in Hollister as one. I noted that there was a group here recently to ask about putting a statue on the grounds for Eric Tognazzini. I knew Eric since he was like 7 years old. Every time I saw him, he'd always give me a hug and a smile. He made a contribution to our community also by making a lot of people happy with his smile. I could see his statue being on that same park area. And so I'm planting a seed for you to consider this request. And I hope that if you get hungry Thanksgiving, come on by, I'll buy you dinner, turkey dinner. I just had a call yesterday. One business in town is donating $300 worth of turkeys for our Thanksgiving thing. So we have a lot of community involvement. The students at the high school show up like crazy. It's amazing how many of them come down there. They get community service points, and but they're very helpful the night before, the day of. And so it's a real community project that we don't want to let die. And so I hope that you will take this under serious consideration. I think it'll be a great asset to our community, to our county.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you.
Marty Richmond.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Marty Richmond from Hollister. Mr. Lopez and I are not in cahoots. You've heard me talk about exactly the same thing, although I did not talk about naming it after Mr. Holte. I did talk about keeping an open space, putting a gazebo in, and making it a community centerpiece. So when that comes to the council, I will be in support of that. I wanted to talk today about some more information, which I keep giving people about Measure J, the impact. And as you know, I oppose it, and one of the reasons I oppose it is because it will continue to leave us dependent on foreign oil. It's the amount we are dependent on foreign oil is absolutely stunning. I looked it up today. We have $200 billion in Fort Knox in the gold reserve in the United States. That's a lot of money, $200 billion. We ship $246 billion a year, every single year, to foreign countries for oil. And although Canada and Mexico are our biggest suppliers, our next two biggest suppliers are Saudi Arabia and Iraq, not exactly our neighbors. In California, that's for the whole United States. In California, actually Saudi Arabia and Iraq, including Russia and some other friendly places, are actually our biggest suppliers. And California, someone who actually supports Measure J that I oppose, told me the other day, we don't import much oil in California. Well, we import 63% of the oil we use in California. I don't know what his concept of not much is, but that's a lot. What does that come out to on a practical basis? Every man, woman, and child in the United States contributes about $780 a year toward importing oil. We spend about $680 million a day importing oil. So just think about whether that money would be in our country rather than outside our country. So a lot of the work you put in, the taxes you pay, the price of the gasoline, and so on and so forth, is going out of the United States. People go up in Walmart and go nuts because they sell Chinese stuff. Well, the amount of oil we use makes Walmart look like a piker, okay? I mean, you know, they go fill their gasoline tanks with oil from Saudi Arabia, drive to Walmart, and complain that Walmart sells Chinese stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me, okay? So I hope you will vote no on Measure J, and I will never poison your children. And if you want to really just ban fracking, I'd vote for that. But I won't vote for something that bans essentially oil production in this county. We produce drops. And when this goes into effect, we'll only be able to produce a half a drop. We use 9 million gallons of gasoline here, 6 million, excuse me, a year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. No other speakers. Item D and E, no business. Item F1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Good evening. On October 6, 2014, City Council held a duly noticed public hearing to introduce Ordinance 1105, an ordinance to pre-zone a 2.17 acre property into the low-density residential designation for future annexation into the corporate limits of the city of Hollister. Staff was directed to schedule a second reading of the ordinance for today. There has been no changes to the proposed ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends read by title only, waive full reading, and adopt ordinance number 1105. Thank you.
I have one speaker for
One
this.
speaker.
Gordon Machado.
Good evening. I kind of apologize that I'm coming, Johnny, to come lately here, but I've seen, I live in the area and I've seen the subdivision, the Rakovich subdivision with the 91 homes going in. And that doesn't really bother me because it is what it is. And that's been in the mill for quite a few years. But what my concern was when I seen this pie-shaped thing, what's going to happen there? I wasn't sure it was part of that subdivision or not. And when I was looking at the agenda the other day, I saw this coming before you tonight and looked back at it, and it was the partial that was in question all the time. The reason I question is that when you have a pie-shaped little piece of land like that, and you annex it in the R1 zoning, pre-zoning of it, I think there's a lack. I've seen other subdivisions being changed as they were annexed or brought in or developed, and they take out the high-density housing possibilities in those areas, in those subdivisions. Here, over the years in government and as a county planning commissioner, you started realizing what R1, R2, R3, R4 means. And when you got a situation here where San Benito Street goes one side of it, Cienega Road goes the other side of it, it's a narrow piece of land that's really heavy. It's a noise factor, the main thing, but it's heavy in the negatives of a subdivision. And normally you put condos in there, anything that has high density. And the other problem that bothers me right now, all our subdivisions do not have a high density part of it, or they're being modified. If we want our children to come home, it gives them an opportunity to get into like a condo, a small. A lot of them are college students or better who have finally got their profession. They're accustomed to living in 1,000 square feet, 750 square feet and all that. So if they have the opportunity to come home, or even some of the professionals that live outside our community don't have the opportunity to come into us and get into their early investment part of real estate. So they get into a condo or some small of that nature, their entry-level dollar they can afford. And then when they grow either financially or grow with a family and all that, they can sell that, and they have a nest egg enough to go into a single-family home in other parts of the community. So that's my concern. Here's an ideal piece of property that should be high density, that's coming in as R1 and reverted to R1. I disagree with that. I think it should be R4, R3, and then transition that land or that property or the investment that people have made into their R4 for the home they always wanted.
Thank you very much. Any other speakers?
No other speakers.
Any comments or questions from council? No. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote, motion carries. Move forward to F2.
Thank you, Mayor. If you'll recall, we had a study session a few weeks back where Jeff Catania from the San Benito County Water District made a brief presentation related to the agreement that is before you related to the use of recycled water from the city's wastewater treatment facility. Real briefly again, The city has the facility, and it's able to produce about 4 million gallons of recycled water per day. Currently, the San Bernardino County Water District provides water service to agricultural users, and the district has invested in the oversized capacity of Phase 1 of the recycled pipeline that actually went from our site out to the airport. And the intent of that was to tee off of that and provide, when the salts and some of the other solids are removed from that water, to use that as for the purposes of agriculture. I don't know why I can't speak tonight. Sorry. And so, again, this agreement is essentially to try to take some of the onus off of the surface water that San Bernardino County Water District currently brings in, and this is the final sort of agreement that'll hopefully get implemented here shortly. Okay. And Harry is here and Jeff is here if you have any other questions.
Are there any questions from council? Are there any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
Is there a motion?
So move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0 vote.
I know what it is. It's these stupid things. Don't get started on them.
Never. F3,
Thank you. This item is also requesting approval of 2 resolutions. Resolution number 2014-203 is a resolution of the City Council authorizing the mayor to execute an annexation agreement with the property owner for the 2.17 acre property that was just pre-zoned with ordinance 1105. And resolution 2014-204, which is a resolution requesting LAFCO to initiate proceedings for the annexation of the territory. Pending approval of these resolutions by the City Council tonight, staff will then forward the application to LAFCO for their review and process for the annexation of the territory. With this, staff recommends that the City Council adopt resolution number 2014-203, authorizing the execution of the annexation agreement, and adopt resolution 2014-204, requesting LAFCO to initiate proceedings for the annexation of the territory.
okay. Are there any questions from council? Are there any speaker cards?
There are no speaker cards.
A motion to approve Resolution 2014-203
Second.
and Resolution 2014-204, excuse me.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0 vote. Move forward to item G1, report from city council members regarding their committees. Council member Gomez.
You know, I don't even know if I want to talk about COG, Mayor. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that a little bit. But,
I'll let you discuss it, council member.
well, that's very kind of you. Yeah, so we had a couple of agenda items. Number one was the traffic impact mitigation fee study. So as I'm sure a lot of folks know, the COG has decided to move forward with a plan to hire on a consultant. So we sent, there are requests for proposals currently we're looking for a consulting firm that can help us with the new mitigation fee study. During that same meeting on Thursday, we also discussed a resolution in support of the next necessary steps for the widening of Highway 25 between Hollister and Gilroy, or the county line, excuse me. Unfortunately, that resolution failed 2-1, myself and Mayor Ignacio Velasquez supporting it, and the other COG members opposed to it. Staff did report also during that meeting that that we are going to be sitting down with Caltrans staff to discuss alternate proposals for Highway 25, alternate route adoption maybe. So we will continue to do work there, but unfortunately there wasn't a commitment from the entire or a majority of the COG board to move forward with the actual detailed plan on the next steps necessary to put Highway 25 widening back on the list of constrained projects. So I believe I had it all wrapped up there.
You sure did.
Can I ask a question? Who voted against it?
The representative from San Juan Bautista, Councilmember Bach, and then San Benito County Supervisors Botello and Munzer.
Okay. Is that it, council member?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Valdivia,
I pass, I don't have anything to report.
Councilmember Friend,
No, I've had no committee meeting.
Councilmember Stevenson,
No.
and I do not have any committee reports either. Move forward to item G2, informational reports from City Council. Councilmember Stevenson?
Well, I just wanted to put a reminder about the Veterans Day Parade. Hope to have a community involvement and everyone come down for November 11th to participate in thanking our nation's veterans for their service.
Councilmember Friend?
That's surprising that Sherry brought that up. I was going to also mention that November 11th, we are having a parade and several entertainment and other things going on at the Vets Building on that day. In the morning, there will be ceremonies. There's also, I believe, a vendor's fair inside, a holiday fair inside, and then the parade. And then November 12th, the American Legion is putting on a dinner, which is free to all vets. If you're a veteran, bring some ID showing you're a veteran, and you get a free meal. I don't know if you'll like it, but it's free. What are you going to do? And that's all I have.
Councilmember Valdivia?
Oh, I just wanted to just welcome my son, David Valdivia. He's here from Oregon. He's visiting for a couple of days. My son moved out there when they were really small, so I really didn't have a chance to interact with him, and he's already going to be 24. I go, one thing, he got a job at Yellowstone, and I go, okay, that's it, we're not going to see him anymore. But anyway, I just want to welcome him and his girlfriend to, they're here visiting for a few days. And also, Christine, I want to congratulate you, you're doing a solo today. That's great.
Thank you.
You're doing great. And also, just for conversation's sake, I want to say that I know the Dodgers didn't win to move ahead to go play in those series, and the Giants got in. It was just incredible. So I'm still on the national. I'm a national. I always root for national teams, so we'll see what happens. I just wanted to say that. And I didn't bring my hat.
Councilmember Gomez?
No comment.
No comments?
He's bleeding Dodger blue.
I just wanted to announce, if you haven't heard, the city won a grant for the airport of $3.1 million from the FAA to help with improvements on the runways, which will allow larger jets in the future. So that was a big win. Thank you to our airport director, Mr. Chambliss, and to Sam Farr, our congressman, for making that happen. We also won a $1.5 million grant for a homeless center that's going to be here in the city county. And that was a lot of work from a lot of the staff at the county and council and a lot of team members working together to make that happen. When we started working on that about a year ago, the conversation was there's no hope of us winning this grant. And a little effort, a lot of luck, we're $1.5 million closer to having our own facility here within the city to help solve our homeless problem. So thank you to all those that made that happen. City manager.
I would just want to report that I'm part of the Monterey Bay Area Managers Group. We meet every month or so, and one of the big topics this last Friday was the sort of water arrangements and agreements between the districts in Monterey County. And I just want to let you folks know that the efforts here, although we don't have as many districts as they do in Monterey, we are light years ahead of where they are. And the fighting is really just going to, I hope it doesn't begin. I shouldn't say that. But I hope that they can get it together, because they do have some real water issues over there. And hopefully they can see their way through it. Also with that, it's just nice to know that we're no different than any of those communities. We have the same problems, and in many cases, we're a lot better off. Excuse me. HDL, we had a meeting today. Mary Paxton and Brett met with HDL, which is our financial, our tax consultants. We're still seeing steady, modest growth, which is excellent. Keep buying your gas here, everybody, and we're going to continue to grow. That's it.
Perfect, thank you very much. City Attorney?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Westrick?
You know, I just want to say thanks to the community that came out for the Red Ribbon Run. The first one we've had really here in town in quite some time. It was amazing. Over 200 runners came in and were downtown that morning. It was fantastic, and we hope to do it bigger and better next year.
Congratulations on that. City Clerk?
I just want to thank everyone for participating in the fair booth and everyone who made that all happen and put it together and tore it down. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 3. What's up next here? G3? Who's giving a report for Assemblymember Luis Alejo?
I thought he was going to be here, right?
He was supposed to be here. He was in Gilroy and coming from Gilroy to here, so he wanted to be last. He did give us a presentation, which I gave to you all, but he was going to be here to do that. He must be delayed.
He
You want-
doesn't,
you
he
want to
doesn't
take a
realize
fi-
how efficient we are over here.
Want to take a 5-minute break and see if we can track him down or no?
Yeah,
I,
we
we,
can take a break.
I can give him a call and let's take a 5-minute break.
If he shows up and the lights are out.
I'll call him.
do whatever.
Yeah, he's still. Okay, everyone, the update from Assemblyman Alejo is that he's just leaving Gilroy, so he asked if we can reschedule at the next meeting. Obviously, we're a little too efficient tonight, and we'll have to hear from him next time. So items H, I, J, and K, there is no business.
Move for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, 5-0 vote. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out tonight.